What if the mission God called you to wasn't where you thought it would be? What if you spent years preparing for the field only to find yourself behind a desk? Meet Joseph, a man with a passion for the Hausa, a heart burning for missions, but a journey that took an unexpected turn. Frustrated, confused, feeling misplaced. But what if God was positioning him for something bigger? This is a story every missionary, pastor, and believer needs to hear. For as long as he could remember, Joseph Adekunle had known where God was calling him, to the Hausa people in northern Nigeria. He had read stories of missionaries who had gone before him, risking everything to bring the gospel to remote villages. He saw himself walking miles across dry, dusty lands, sharing the message of Christ under the shade of baobab trees, drinking fura da nono with Hausa elders, and watching new believers be baptized in small, muddy rivers. But that wasn't what happened. Instead of heading north, Joseph and his wife, Ngozi, found themselves in a small office in Lagos, sitting behind desks, running social media pages, editing videos, and managing the website for their missions organization. "This is not what we signed up for," Joseph muttered one evening as they closed the office. Ngozi, always the practical one, shrugged. "God's ways are not our ways." But Joseph wasn't satisfied. He didn't move his family to the city to sit behind a laptop. He wanted to go, to meet people, to disciple, to preach. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was in the wrong place. One afternoon, while working late, Joseph decided to take a break and get some food from a roadside vendor. As he waited for his suya, he noticed a man standing nearby, a tall, lean figure in a flowing kaftan, a Hausa man. Joseph's heart skipped. "Sanu da aiki," he greeted in Hausa. The man's face lit up with surprise. "Kai, ka iya Hausa? You speak Hausa?" Joseph smiled. "A little." The two got talking, and Joseph learned that the man, Musa, had moved to Lagos from Katsina in search of work. He had been struggling to adjust to city life, missing home, and feeling lost in the crowds. Joseph felt a nudge in his spirit. Maybe he wasn't in the wrong place after all. Over the next few weeks, Joseph and Musa built a friendship. They met at the suya spot, had long conversations about faith and life, and one day Musa asked the question Joseph had been waiting for. "Tell me, what is this Jesus you talk about?" Joseph's heart pounded as he shared the gospel, not in a northern village, not under a baobab tree, but right there in Lagos, over a plate of suya. Musa wasn't the only Hausa in Lagos. He introduced Joseph to a whole community: traders, herders, security guards, young boys selling kola nuts at traffic stops. Many of them were far from home, struggling to find purpose in the city. Joseph realized something incredible. He had been waiting to go north to find the Hausa, but God had brought the Hausa to him. With Ngozi's help, they started small. They created short gospel messages in Hausa, shared them through WhatsApp and Facebook, and invited their new friends to their home for food and discussions. They found that media, the very thing Joseph had resented at first, became a powerful tool to reach those he couldn't meet in person. Then, one day, Musa made a decision. "I want to follow Jesus." Joseph felt tears in his eyes. He had spent months frustrated, feeling misplaced, and yet here he was, discipling a new believer, exactly what he had always prayed for. It wasn't in a remote village. It wasn't what he had planned, but it was exactly where God wanted him to be. And perhaps, one day, he would still go north. But for now, the mission field had come to him. God's mission isn't limited by location. The harvest is everywhere, even where you least expect it. Maybe, like Joseph, you feel stuck. Maybe your ministry doesn't look the way you imagined. But what if this is exactly where God wants to use you? Has God ever surprised you with an unexpected mission field? Drop your story in the comments. Your testimony might just encourage someone else. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that challenge, inspire, and fuel your passion for missions. Let's take the gospel beyond borders, one divine encounter at a time.